Mississippi is out. Lining up 6'6" Louis Griffin at center against 6'7" Ed Beck of Kentucky. They shake hands and square off. Kentucky has 1-inch height advantage on the jump to start the ball game. Back here Monday night to play Mississippi State. Here's the tap by Beck to Krigler just in front court as the game gets underway. Over to Smith to Hatton. He moves in, kicks back to Smith, breaks down the middle, flips to Cox. Jump shot, it's good. Kentucky scores in 8 seconds and leads Ole Miss 2-0. Up into front court now, Jim Tom Atherton. Gives in, Garner off the free throw line, shoots high off the rim. The rebound to Beck of Kentucky. Slings himself clear of Atherton. Gives over to Hatton moving in front court to the left to Cox. He missed it, but he's fouled on the play. Carlton Garner of Ole Miss drawing the first personal foul. 27 seconds gone as Cox almost knotted up with his second field goal. He's on the free throw line shooting 2. Cox is a two-handed free throw shooter. Spreads the feet well apart and shoots. No good. Hit the back of the rim, bounced off to the left. Krigler yells something up the alley to Cox. Cox comes out with his second shot, good, to give Kentucky a 3-0 lead on his 3 points. And here's Ole Miss back to the attack with Bobby Williams coming in front court. Cox is on him out deep. In a pivot to Griffin, Beck backs away on a switch as Cox picks up, and he flips out deep to Atherton. Atherton brings to the right. Passes down on the side to Robinson. From 15 feet, he gets a shot out of there that's no good. Beck up high off that rim for the rebound. A beauty which draws applause of the crowd. Over to Krigler, whips to Hatton. From the right side, he takes a jump shot that's no good. Ole Miss has got the rebound. Hatton moves in on Atherton, but can't stop him. After 55 seconds, Kentucky 3, Mississippi nothing. In front court now, here's Atherton, giving to Williams. Down the left side to Garner. He brings it out to the free throw line on Krigler. Drives and hooks. Good. A beautiful play by Carlton Garner, 6'4" forward who wears glasses. 3-2 the score. Kentucky by 1 as Hatton moves over the center stripe. High one to Beck in the pivot. Knocked away. It's picked up by Krigler outside. Top rim of the circle. Jump shots way short and out of bounds to Ole Miss. A minute, 20 seconds gone. Kentucky leads 3-2. No points. Last 2 trips for the Cats, though. Only 1 point off the last 3. Jim Tom Atherton in front court works the right side to Robinson, breaks out, Beck switches. Back block doesn't quite go, though, with center Griffin. Off the right into the right corner, it goes to Bobby Williams. Outside to Atherton, staying deep, swinging to the left against Odie Smith. Cuts back to the right, goes to the free throw line, gives off to Williamson, and Smith fouls him. For Adrian Smith, that's the first personal foul. Each team has committed 1 here in the first 1 minute, 45 seconds of play. And Bobby Williams of Ole Miss, with 1 free throw, has a chance to tie up this 3-2 game. Cox with 3 points, but Kentucky in front 3-0. Now Williams' free throw ties it up 3-3. Cats attacking with Krigler on the right side, getting it from Hatton, breaking all the way, hooks it back, no good, he's fouled. Carlton Garner, Ole Miss's top scorer, has drawn his second personal foul here in the first 1 minute, 50 seconds. Krigler's on the line for the Cats. 2 shots coming. Here's Krigler's first try. It's good. Krigler's the second Cat to score as Kentucky leads now by 4-3. Krigler's a one-hand free throw shooter, just off the forehead. It's good again. So it's Kentucky 5, Ole Miss 3. 6'2", Bobby Williams in front court to Jim Tom Atherton. Takes a 20-foot jump shot, no good. Short off the rim. Odie Smith has it knocked down and away from him. Hatton scoops it up beautifully to Adrian Smith. Drives by Williams on a 3-3 situation. Gives to Cox. Here's the jump. It's no good. Beautiful tap by Krigler for 2 points. John Krigler with a two-handed tap on the way down makes it 7-3 Kentucky after a 3-3 deadlock. In front court's Williams of Mississippi. Crisscrosses, flips back, and Atherton moves to the left. Whips into the pivot to Griffin, breaks to his right, comes back with a hook that's short, rolls over the rim. Cox slaps up and Krigler takes. Mows up with Carlton Garner on his back, unable to get to it. Over to Smith, breaks open, lays it in, driving. Odie Smith with his first field goal makes it 9-3 Kentucky. Krigler hitting 4 points to break a 3-3 tie, now getting help from Odie Smith. Into the right corner is Atherton. A 2-hand bounce pass goes to Williams, and Hatton knocks it away out of bounds. Out of bounds with it. Bobby Williams, 6'2" Ole Miss forward from Tennessee. Passing into Robinson, who breaks out to the free throw line. Hatton drives him out to the top of the circle. He looks at Griffin in the pivot, then shoots a pass back to Williams. Williams cuts to the left. Kentucky hung up on a switch, but Cox and Hatton got away. Here it is, Garner on the free throw line. Shoots a half pass, half shot to Griffin. He's fouled from the rear by Krigler. First foul on Krigler and the second foul on each team. Louis Griffin, 6'6" Mississippi center, on the line for one shot. 16:49 in the first half as Griffin misses. Cox rebounds just off the edge of the rim. Comes out of there on a 4-3 break. Whips to Krigler, who drops it but didn't hit the floor. He picks up, starts to break, flips to Cox, out to Hatton. From 25 feet, it's no good. Tapped beautifully by Beck, it's good. All but Hatton have scored as Kentucky leads 11-3 on Beck's first field goal. In the front court now, Williams passing over to Atherton. Deep. Down the left side to Garner, brings it out. Krigler hit by Smith, hangs on, and Garner shoots good off the free throw line. Carlton Garner with his second field goal makes it 11-5. Kentucky holds a 6-point edge. Down the left side to Cox, back to Hatton. Smith goes through, it's out to Krigler. Moves to the free throw line, tied up and walks with it, and it's out of bounds to Mississippi. First Kentucky trip without a shot. In the front court it goes to Williams of Mississippi. Down to Robinson, out to Atherton. Back down to Robinson, moves out to the free throw line on Cox, turns, Hatton stabs from the rear and misses. Outside pass goes to Williams. Hatton backs away. As Williams moves to the left, Odie Smith ties him up beautifully. They'll jump at the Mississippi free throw line. Bobby Williams of Ole Miss at 6'2" will have 2 inches height advantage for the Rebels with 15 minutes 49 seconds here in the first half. Cats with a 6-point lead. Smith taps to Hatton. Hatton moves down toward the baseline, clears himself and moves back into front court. Down the left side behind Beck, gets wide open but missed the shot and he's fouled. Personal foul against Bobby Williams of Ole Miss, his first, third against the Rebels. Hatton on the line. 2 shots coming to Hatton. The only Cat without a point as the Big Blue leads 11-5. Hatton is a 2-hand free throw shooter like Cox. The first one's good. All 5 of the Cats have points. The top man is Krigler with 4. 12-5 for Kentucky. Hatton eyes for the second one, and it's good. Kentucky 13, Mississippi 5 in the Southeastern Conference battle here at Lexington. Up in the front court, 6'2" Jim Tom Atherton. Whips it over to Williams, drops it, picks it up quickly on a short hop, and walks with it. Double dribble. Goes out of bounds to Kentucky. Adrian Smith watches the offense flow by him, passes to Hatton. He moves quickly to the left, fakes to Cox, gives a high pass to Beck, off the left to Odie Smith, breaks to the left, and a foul is called from the baseline on Mississippi's Bobby Robinson, his first foul. 4th against the Rebels is Odie Smith, makes his first appearance of the night at the free throw line. 1 shot coming, and off the Rebel bench, number 21, of which there is none. So let's see who it is.
For Mississippi, number 21, Garney Hatch.
Garney Hatch, who is listed in the program, Mississippi program, as number 12, will be wearing number 21. So Hatch is in the ball game. As the free throw by Adrian Smith is good to make it 14-5 in favor of Kentucky. Carlton Garner whips off the right side, and Robinson with a jump shot misses. The rebound taken out by Cox, and he is fouled by Mississippi's Bobby Robinson, drawing his second personal and the 5th against the Rebels. Garney Hatch, who's in the Rebel lineup, is the number 5 scorer with 44 points, a 4.4 average. H-A-T-C-H, Hatch. He's 6'2", weighs 180, 23-year-old junior from Patmos, Arkansas. Mississippi, incidentally, is listed and actually do have illegal numbers on their uniforms, and whether the officials will call a technical foul, we don't know, because the Rebels have 3 players on the floor with illegal numbers. Carlton Garner's wearing 19. We have Robinson with 18 and Griffin with 16. It's not legal to wear a number higher than 5, and Mississippi's got 3 of them. Here down the right side is Hatch, gives off, and a hook by Griffin is no good. Cox hooks in the rebound, getting it away from Beck. Moves it up in the front court on the fast break. Cox pulls up, whips to Hatton to the right. Here's the shot, short. Krigler knocks it down and gets it, and is fouled as he comes up with a shot that hits the rim and bounces off it once again, as against Bobby Williams of Mississippi, his 3rd personal. The 6th of the ball game. 14 minutes, 42 seconds in the first half as Krigler will take 2. This, incidentally, is Kentucky's 19th game. It's the first team we've seen wearing numbers higher than 5, which is according to the rules. Krigler misses the first. Beck walks a step and a half toward him, yelling, "Let's go, Krieg," as that's the first one he's missed. The second one again is no good. Mississippi's got it as Hatch moves it up into front court now. Over to the right side to Atherton. Down on the side to Robinson, breaks out to the 3-second zone. Bounce pass to Griffin, hands off to Hatch. From 15 feet, he's open and misses. Rebounding Johnny Cox is fouled once again by Bobby Williams, who draws his 4th foul of the game, and that's 7 on Ole Miss, which brings the bonus rule into effect. Kentucky so far has missed 4 free throws. 14 minutes and 24 seconds to play. We're going to get a substitution. Carter Brown will check in for him, 26-year-old senior from Summit. He's 6'3", weighs 185. Johnny Cox on the free throw line, shoots good, giving Cox 2 out of 4, and here's the first bonus free throw coming up after 5 minutes, 36 seconds of play. Mississippi's committed 7 personals. Robinson comes out. Mississippi has only 4 substitutes. Brown had his big night against Alabama when he scored 7. He has only 20 points, 2-point average. Cox misses the free throw, gets the rebound, and hooks. Good. Cox with that swooping hook makes it Kentucky 17, Mississippi 5. Into front court with it is Atherton. Over to Hatch, down the right side to Carter. Back to Hatch. Bounce pass goes over to Carlton Garner into the right corner. Jump shot over Hatton is short and bounces out of bounds to Kentucky. Adrian Smith flips her into Vernon Hatton. The Cats are in front by 12 points. They've outscored Ole Miss 14-2 since the game was tied 3-3. Here it is to Krigler, back to Smith, breaking all the way to the baseline. Tries to get his shot away and is fouled from the rear. No, Smith is fouling. His second personal. The official indicating that Smith tried to use his elbow to get his shot away. 13 minutes and 44 seconds here in the first half at Lexington. We'll be back with you Monday night over these same Standard Oil stations at 7:45 Eastern Time for Kentucky and Mississippi State. Next Saturday, 1 week from tonight, we'll be on the air at 6:30 Central Time from Chicago Stadium for the Kentucky-Loyola game. Here's the free throw missed by Hatch. Kentucky gets the rebound as Krigler brings it in front court, gives to Cox, out to Hatton. Over to Adrian Smith. Back over to Hatton, down the right to Krigg. Krigg goes for the basket. Under, back and in. Krigler has his second field goal, and it's Kentucky 19, Mississippi 5. Up in the front court, Garney Hatch of Ole Miss. Gives over to Atherton in the pivot to Griffin. Breaks right, comes back with a fall-away two-hander that's short. Cox couldn't get to the rebound, and Beck picks it up. Whips a high pass to Krigler at the midcourt stripe. He moves down the right side, passes in the corner to Hatton, weaves, gives over breaking for the basket, and Krigler misses. Ole Miss has got the rebound as it's pulled in by Brown. Fed up to Hatch, and Brown wide open lays it in. Checkers Hatch laying in his first field goal. 19-7, Kentucky leading Mississippi as they've just picked up their third field goal in 7 minutes. Adrian Smith on the right side gives to Cox, breaks back to the left, gets away for a 15-foot jump shot that's no good. Off the rim to Mississippi as Atherton pulls it in. Atherton walking up the backcourt now unopposed. Comes over the center stripe against Adrian Smith, turns his back, moves down the right side. Cox picks him up on the switch. Atherton plays with the left eyebrow taped up, indicating a cut. Here it is to Carlton Garner, breaks out to the free throw line. He gives it over to Brown, moves down the right side. Bounce pass to Griffin in the pivot, almost off the foot of Krigler. Back it goes to Brown, moves into the 3-second zone. He takes a hook that's good. Carter Brown with his first field goal draws Mississippi within 10 points at 19-9. Adrian Smith moves back into front court for Kentucky. Down the right to Krigler, back out to Hatton. He sets, 25-footer, short. Beck taps outside, no good. Adrian Smith races in against Carter, and Brown, and picks it up, and Brown fouled him. Hatch it was that draws the personal, his first one. Bonus rule is into effect against Mississippi with 12 minutes to go here in the first half. Kentucky leads 19-9. Krigler and Cox, who both were outscored by Ed Beck on the last road trip, lead Kentucky with 6 points. Odie Smith on the free throw line shoots and hits and gets the bonus shot. 20-9 in favor of Kentucky. Smith's second shot, his bonus try, is good, giving him 5 points, and a 21-9 Kentucky lead. Back into front court now, 6'2" Garney Hatch of Ole Miss. Moves to the right, passes to the left to Garner. Breaks in, gives a high pass intended for Griffin, and here's a foul on Ed Beck of Kentucky. First foul on Beck, fourth foul on Kentucky. Carlton Garner makes his first appearance at the Ole Miss free throw line. He's shooting one. 11 minutes and 49 seconds here in the first half. Garner wears glasses. Shoots his free throw good and makes it 21-10. Up in the front court, Hatton passing to Krigler on the right side. Breaks in against Garner to the baseline. Goes under, comes back and misses. Beautiful rebound by Cox. Fakes a hook shot, gives to Hatton on the outward movement. Hatton brings it back out front to set it up. Down the left side to Cox, right back to Hatton. Over to Krigler, top of the circle. He takes the one-hand shot with no rebounding strength. Cox gets the off-coming rebound and hooks. Good. Man, the fans love that hook by Cox. His second one on the 3 field goals he's picked up, and it's 23-10 Kentucky. Cox still playing with that right hand taped up. Here's Walking against Mississippi's Carter Brown as he tried to fake Cox going for the basket. Hatton passes to Beck. Right back to Hatton, moving over the center stripe. Down the right side to Krigler. Outside to Cox, to Adrian Smith from 30 feet. It's no good. Tapped by Beck. No good. Beck picks up the rebound. Passes out deep to Hatton. Whips in there to Cox. Here's the hook. It's good. Cox has 4 field goals. Kentucky 25, Mississippi 10, and timeout Rebels. Well, there's the first time out of the game as we get Ivan Richman. Richmann. Richman, a 6'7" sophomore from Williamsville, Missouri, in the Mississippi lineup. He's 20 years old, weighs 205. Third scorer with 142 points and an average of 8.9 per game. Coming out is Lewis Griffin. So here's the individual scoring so far. Adrian Smith has 5 points. Vernon Hatton 2. Beck 2. Johnny Cox 10. John Krigler 6. For Mississippi, Hatch has 2. Brown 2. 5 for Garner, 1 for Williams. As Cox hit a field goal and a free throw to give Kentucky a 3-0 lead. Garner hit a hook shot and Williams a free throw to tie it 3-3. Then Krigler reeled off 4 points. Smith hit and Beck tapped in for an 11-3 Kentucky lead, and the Cats have been comfortably in charge ever since. Well, this afternoon down at Chapel Hill, Dukes on-rushing Blue Devils, paced by the 21-point sharpshooting of Jim Newcomb, took charge in the second half and handed 7th-ranked North Carolina its 4th defeat of the season, and a bad whipping it was. Duke 91, North Carolina 75, the score of that afternoon game. Kentucky's hitting 57% now as we go back to the last 10 minutes, 45 seconds of the first half. Down the right side of the Ole Miss court, it's away from Carter Brown, but he recovers out to Atherton. Atherton moving to the left as we have Richmond playing the pivot. Here's Garner giving to Richmond, breaking for the basket against Krigler. The shot is good. The goal counts and a foul on Krigler. Second foul on Krigler and the 5th against Kentucky. Richmond's field goal is Mississippi's 5th, his first. 10 minutes and 32 seconds in this first half here at the Coliseum. Kentucky leads Mississippi by 13 points. Richmond's free throw makes it 25-13. Here's Hatton feeding Krigler on the right side of the Kentucky front court. Outside to Beck, over to Hatton. Hatton moves in behind Beck from 20 feet, hits. Hatton is the 5th man to get a field goal for Kentucky as the Wildcats lead 27-13. Into front court for Mississippi is Hatch. Down the right side. Outside pass goes to Atherton. Atherton down to the pivot now. Takes a return pass from Richmond. Whips it right back to Richmond. Richmond turns. Breaks to the right on Beck, and then passes out deep to Brown, who drops the ball, moves back and picks it up. Over to Hatch. Hatch deep into the right. Breaks down, gives a pass to Richmond. Back to Hatch at the free throw line. Outside to Carter Brown. Brown shoots from 25 feet and misses. Off with it is Krigler and Hatton. Hatton finally picks it up on the bounce. Moves back over the center stripe. Down to the right side behind Beck. Doesn't get a shot away. Over to Cox. Takes the jump shot, and it's no good. Tapped by Beck by Krigler. It's good. Fine rebounding tap by John Krigler for his 3rd field goal. 29-13 for Kentucky. Up in the front court is Atherton of Ole Miss. Down the right side to Carter Brown. Brown whips one in there that Beck knocks up in the air, but Garner picks it up and shoots short and rebounds and lays it up again, in and out. Slapped up into the air. It's outside to Mississippi's Hatch. Moves to the baseline to the right of the basket against Johnny Cox. Now passes out deep to Atherton, over to Garner on the left side. Over Beck, he misses. Rebound by Richmond. Picks it up, has the shot blocked beautifully by Krigler. Picked up by Beck, whipped to Hatton. He loses the ball, moves back and gets it, then comes again to the top of the circle. Here's the jumper. Good. Vernon Hatton, field goal number 2. Kentucky 31, Mississippi 13. As across that scoreboard, we have 3-1-1-3. To Garner, back to Atherton. Jump shot from the top of the circle is no good to the left side as Cox hits the floor under the basket. Beck rebounds, hooks a high leading pass to Hatton for a 2-2 fast break. He moves to the left, turns his back to the basket, gives to Cox. Fakes the jump shot, moves into the left, outside to Hatton. He brings it out deep to set it up. Passes to Krigler on the right. Krigler reverses court, goes back, hooks in. Garner blocks. Beck rebounds and hits the floor hard as it's taken away from him by Ole Miss's Carter Brown. And stolen by Adrian Smith on an interception at midcourt. Out to Beck. They yell, shoot, so Beck does, and it's about 5 feet under the basket. We got a jump on the rebound between Cox and Brown. Cox at 6'4" will have 1 inch height advantage. 8 minutes, 8 seconds here in the first half. Here's the toss, the tap by Cox to Beck. Fans yell, shoot again, as the pass goes out to Hatton. Back to Beck, 15-foot hook, no good. Beck slaps it way high, right outside to Mississippi to establish a 2-1 fast break by Atherton. Wide open, Hatch lays it in. Second field goal makes it 31-15 by Garney Hatch. Smith hits back in the pivot, back to Smith, 5 feet to the left, he lays it in. Adrian Smith with his second field goal, and Kentucky leads 33-15. Waiting to get in for Mississippi is Griffin, the starting center, as Ole Miss takes timeout. Second Mississippi timeout. Back into the Rebel lineup is Griffin. So we now have 7 minutes and 38 seconds here in the first half. The score is Kentucky 33, Mississippi 15. The Rebels caught Kentucky at 3-all. The Cats have been in control since that time. The scoring to this point, Adrian Smith has 7 points, Vernon Hatton 6, Beck 2, Cox 10, Krigler 8. For Mississippi, Hatch 4, Brown 2, Garner 5, Richmond 3, Williams 1. As we've had 2 times out in the game, both taken by the Rebels here in the first half, and they're ready to come back to action. Richmond and Griffin, the 2 big boys, 6'6", 6'7", both remain in the lineup. Just now, Brown leaves the floor as Mississippi had 6 men on the floor. Kentucky is ready to go. Jim Tom Atherton out of bounds at center court to put it in play for the Rebels. Passes into Garney Hatch. Mississippi has gone to a double pivot. Goes into Garner from the free throw line. He misses. Rebound taken off by Griffin. Fall-away shot hits the rim, comes off of there, and a pushing foul called against Beck of Kentucky, his second personal. That's 6 of them against Kentucky. On the Mississippi free throw line is Ivan Richmond, who has hit 1 for 1. 7 minutes and 29 seconds here in the first half at the Coliseum in Lexington. Richmond shooting 1, hits. Score, Kentucky 33, Mississippi 16. The ball rolls up to the first row of the crowd. Across the way as Kentucky now gets it in play with Hatton passing to Adrian Smith. Kentucky attacking the northern basket off to our left. Cox brings it out, gives to Hatton. To the left side on a 1-bounce dribble out to Krigler, into Beck. Here's a 10-foot hook, too hard. Tapped up, no good by Cox. Cox rebounds, falls away, and misses. Krigler gets the rebound. Here's an Ole Miss foul. Personal foul goes against Lewis Griffin. It's his first of the game. Shooting will be John Krigler with 7 minutes and 12 seconds to play here in the first half. Krigler is 2 for 4 at the free throw line. Krigler hit his first 2, missed his last 2. This one's no good. Beck taps it in, but it's no good. Beck pushed and fouled. So now Beck's got 3 fouls on him, and the bonus rule is into effect, and Beck's coming out. He'll be replaced by Don Mills, the 20-year-old sophomore from Berea. Mills stands 6'7", weighs 190. The number 8 scorer with 42 points, an average of 3-2 per game. Big night against LSU when he got 10. Beck comes out. Mills has a proficiency rating of 174. He gets a point every 174 seconds of play. On the free throw line is Ivan Richmond of Ole Miss, who has come in as a substitute and picked up 4 points. He shoots 1 free throw good and a bonus shot. 7 minutes and 12 seconds here in the first half, with Kentucky leading Mississippi 33-17. Richmond, the 6'7" sophomore, pumps up the bonus shot short. The rebound taken, though, by Griffin, who lays it in. So Mississippi gets another 3-point trip out of it as Griffin gets his first field goal to narrow the Kentucky lead to 14 points. Hatton down the left side to Cox, brings it out to the top rim of the circle, gives to Krigler, fakes a shot, flips it over to Adrian Smith. He breaks out, flips to Hatton on the right. He's double-teamed as he goes to the baseline with it. Over to Krigler, out of the corner, he hits. John Krigler gets his 4th field goal to match the 4 by Johnny Cox, and Kentucky leads 35-19. Here's a jump shot from the outside by Atherton, short on the floor, through the legs of Don Mills. He dives and gets it beautifully, protecting it away from Carlton Garner of Ole Miss as he gets the pass up to Johnny Cox. Pulls up at the top of the circle, gives over to Don Mills, back out to Cox. 1-bounce dribble, and on the baseline to Krigler from the left. He misses this one. Cox rebounds, hooks, good. Johnny Cox, hitting his 5th field goal, has now hit 4 straight hook shots. 37-19, Kentucky leading Ole Miss. Rebels slowing down the pace of this ball game. They're into a double pivot, playing Garner off to the left. Here's Griffin in the pivot, shooting, missing. Rebounding Krigler of Kentucky, knocked to the floor from the rear by Richmond of Ole Miss, committing his first foul of the game. Off the Mississippi bench comes Bobby Williams, who started the game. 6 minutes to go here in the first half as Garney Hatch comes out of the Rebel lineup. The Rebels have Bobby Robinson, a starting forward, on the bench with 4 personals, picked up in less than 8 minutes. Krigler on the free throw line has missed 3 in a row, and this one's no good. Ole Miss gets the rebound as Atherton has it slapped outside to him, moves it up into front court on the left side. Krigler, one of Kentucky's best free throw shooters, hit 2 in a row tonight, now has missed 3 straight. Here's Garner on the left side, shoots over Krigler, the shot's no good. Johnny Cox races out, knocks it out of bounds. On the deep right corner of the offensive court, it'll be put in play by Ivan Richmond, the 6'7" center. 2 hands a pass to Garner, fakes, breaks, jump shot over Krigler's no good. Cox high to get the rebound, away from Griffin, who's 2 inches taller. Cox whips to the corner to Hatton. He takes a 10-foot jump shot way short. Outside, Mississippi's got it, 2-on-1 against Hatton, and Williams, tremendous burst of speed, misses the shot, and Krigler gets the rebound. Whips over to Adrian Smith for a 2-2 Kentucky break. Smith from 10 feet hits. Adrian Smith has got 3 field goals, and Kentucky leads by 20 points, 39-19. Up into front court now is Bobby Williams of Ole Miss. Down the left side to Garner, back to Williams. Goes in wide open and lays it in as he got away from Hatton. Williams' first field goal makes it 39-21. As we go into the last 5 minutes of this first half. In the front court, Smith flips to Krigler on the right side. Krigler takes a 25-footer that's good. The fans thought then on the ooh that they gave that Krigler was shooting from too far back as he matches 5 field goals with Cox and a 41-21 Kentucky lead. Williams in front court for Mississippi as Garner goes into the pivot. Now they're playing a triple pivot. Atherton from the outside misses. Krigler almost unopposed in the 3-second zone, rebounds. Moves over the center stripe for the Wildcats. Top rim of the circle gives to Cox. Whips in the right corner to Hatton. The shot, good. Vernon Hatton has 3 field goals, and Kentucky leads by 22 points for the first time. It's 43-21, 4 minutes, 15 seconds in the first half. Williams of Ole Miss in front court. Flips to Garner on the pivot at the free throw line. He moves on a 1-bounce dribble. Don Mills picks him up as he gives over to Bobby Williams. Williams moves out, cuts down. Don Mills knocks it down, but it's picked up by Garner. Takes a quick jump shot over Hatton that's in and out. Slapped up by Griffin, no good. Don Mills knocks it out of bounds, and Ole Miss gets it. 4 minutes to play here in the first half. Kentucky's next action is Monday night against Mississippi State. Broadcast time, 7:45 Eastern Time. To the left of the basket over the baseline, Ivan Richmond puts it in play for the Rebels as they walk through their play. Pass deep to Williams. Williams moves down the left side, turns his back to Hatton, and moves back out front. Bounce pass to Garner. Hatton kicks and just misses it. Hatton, he turns and shoots good. Carlton Garner picking up his 3rd field goal, pulling Mississippi within 20 points at 43-23. Hatton flips a pass into Adrian Smith, brings it in front court, whips to Krigler. Krigler looks at Mills, looks at Hatton, then passes to Hatton. Hatton moves in to set it up as Kentucky has slowed down the ball game now. Over to Krigler, back to Smith, over to Cox in the left corner to Hatton. He moves out on a 1-bounce dribble, passes to Smith. 3-second violation by Cox gives the ball to Mississippi. Kentucky 43, Mississippi 23. Up in the front court is Atherton. Whips into the pivot, and a foul by Don Mills. First foul on Mills. Bonus rule is into effect against each team. Ivan Richmond, a substitute, who's come in for 5 points, goes to the free throw line where he's hit 3 out of 4. 3 minutes and 7 seconds here in the first half. Richmond, the number 3 scorer, but a substitute tonight, shoots good and gets the bonus shot. Kentucky has had 4 bonus shots and missed 3 of the 4. Mississippi's had 1 and missed it. Here's the second bonus try, and it's good. So the score is Kentucky 43, Mississippi 25. Vernon Hatton moves over the center stripe, letting Mills go to the pivot. Gives over to Smith, to the left side to Cox, back to Hatton to Krigler, in the right corner to Smith. Open for the jump shot that's good. Adrian Smith has 4 field goals, and Kentucky leads again by 20 points, 45-25. We go into the last 3 minutes of play here in the first half. Pass to Garner. Free throw line shot's no good. Don Mills rebounds for Kentucky. Out to Smith. Knocked down, but he holds on. Away from Atherton, over to Cox on the left side. Garner goes on him. He plays a bounce pass in there to Odie Smith. Got a 6-7 man against him, Richmond, so he gives back to Cox. Over to Smith in the left corner. Drives by Griffin, and he's cut off by Richmond. A foul goes against Mississippi. Ivan Richmond drawing his second personal foul. So while we wait for the free throw, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky. 30 seconds past 8:30.
Mississippi, number 21.
Adrian Smith on the Kentucky free throw line hits his fourth straight free throw as Atherton comes out of the Ole Miss lineup to make way for Garney Hatch. Kentucky leads 46-25, and Smith has the bonus shot coming. He hits. Kentucky leads 47-25, equaling their longest lead of the game. Garney Hatch in front court for the Rebels, a substitute that's been in earlier and picked up 4 points on field goals. Hatch closely guarded by Adrian Smith. Finally gets a pass out to Bobby Williams, breaks in, goes under the basket, hooks it back and in. Williams getting his second field goal to make it 47-27. Here's Smith on the right side to Krigler, out to Hatton, over the left to Cox. Cox takes a 20-foot jump shot. Good. Johnny Cox takes the field goal lead with his sixth one. 49-27 for the Wildcats as we move into the last 2 minutes of the first half. Bobby Williams of Ole Miss dances down the left side. Gives one in there, and a foul against Vernon Hatton. Checkers. It's against Cox. First foul on Cox. Only Hatton and has been in this game of the 6 Wildcats without a foul being called against him. Bobby Williams on the free throw line. He's hit 1 for 1. Monday night, Kentucky plays Mississippi State here at the Coliseum, next to last home game of the season. Bobby Williams lays in the free throw and has a bonus shot coming. 1 minute, 48 seconds here in the first half. Williams' bonus try is good and makes it 49-29. Up in the front court now, Krigler on the right side for Kentucky. Breaks for the basket, gives in the right corner to Smith. Jump shot good. Odie Smith hitting out of the deep right corner for his 5th field goal. Puts Kentucky in front 51-29. Garney Hatch comes over the center stripe for the Rebels. Hesitates and walks with it. Carried it just a step in changing pace on the dribble. Smith to Krigler, breaking into front court to the baseline. Turns his back, spins and misses. Johnny Cox, a beautiful rebound. Here's the hook. It's good. Johnny Cox, 7 field goals. Kentucky leads 53-29 for their biggest margin of the contest. Williams drives on Hatton and hits again. 3 field goals for Bobby Williams on Vernon Hatton. 53-31, Kentucky leads. 1 minute to go in this first half. At the halftime over at McAllister on the other side of town tonight, Transylvania is leading Marion, Indiana. Transylvania 45, Marion, Indiana 29. That's being played here in Lexington, too. Krigler whips to Mills. He turns and shoots way short. Rebounding beautifully is Krigler, and is he fouled? Coming up for the shot, Carlton Garner of Ole Miss draws his 3rd one. 44 seconds to go as Krigler comes out to the Kentucky free throw line. Krigler is shooting 2. John hit 2 straight tonight, and since then has missed 4 in a row. Here's Krigler's first try. Good. Krigler finally broke the drought. Kentucky takes a 23-point lead. Second shot by Krigler's good, and the Cats lead by 24 points again. Krigler has 14 points. Up in the front court is Hatch of Mississippi. Breaks to the right, and from 20 feet, misses. Tapped in by Louis Griffin, no good. Rolls off for Ivan Richmond, who goes in, gets it again, and shoots, and Cox fouled him. Johnny Cox drawing his 2nd foul of the game. Krigler and Smith each have 2. Also, Beck has 3. Ivan Richmond goes to the Ole Miss free throw line, where he's hit 5 out of 6. Richmond shooting 2. Here's the first one. No good. 29 seconds in the first half. Richmond with his 2nd one, good. Makes it Kentucky 55, Mississippi 32. Don Mills stood half in bounds when he passed in, so Mississippi gets the ball back. Out of bounds to the left of the basket is Richmond of Ole Miss. Passes one into the left corner to Garney Hatch. Into the left corner to Carlton Garner. Gets a screen and a jump shot good. Carlton Garner with his 4th field goal makes it 55-34. Kentucky with a 21-point lead. 7 seconds to go as Krigler gets it on the right side out to Hatton. 5 seconds. Over to Krigler. He shoots. Good. John Krigler picks up his 6th field goal, and the first half ends without a Mississippi shot. Halftime score, Kentucky 57, Mississippi 34. Goes to Cox just in front court. He gives over to Adrian Smith, top rim of the circle, jump shot, no good. Taken off by Mississippi as Griffin pulls it in. Passes over to Williams, up to Hatch. He moves over the center stripe. Kentucky scored in the first 8 seconds of the ball game, failed this trip. Here it goes into the pivot. Jump shot by Richmond is good. So that's his second field goal, 10th point to give him the lead among Mississippi scorers and reduce the Cats' lead to 21 points. Cox on the left side gets it from Hatton, feeds it back to Smith, over to Krigler. He's open, 20-footer, no good. Hung up to the right as it wedged between the rim and the backboard. Over to Carlton Garner, to Bobby Williams as the Rebels set it up. Williams brings it to the left. Hatton comes through a screen. Williams passes back out to Garney Hatch. Hatch gives into the double pivot, the triple pivot, and then into the left corner to Hatch, and the jump shot's good. So Hatch has his third field goal, and Mississippi's outscored Kentucky 4-0 here in the first minute of the second half. Cats still lead by 19, though. Here's Hatton from 25 feet, missing. Mississippi rebounding. The Cats are flat this half. They're not jumping like they were against the Rebels. Here's a 20-footer by Williams, no good. Rebounding's Ed Beck of Kentucky. Up to Adrian Smith. They got a 3-2 fast break. Here's Cox right down the middle, laid it in. So Johnny Cox becomes the leading scorer with his 8th field goal and 18th point. 59-38. Kentucky leads Mississippi. In front court, Hatch moves to the right. Smith squeezes through the screen, and the pass is back to Richmond. Jump shot short. Griffin drops the rebound, picked up and laid up by Richmond, no good. Outside it goes to Williams. He whips over to Garner, wide open at the free throw line. He hits. Garner, with his 5th field goal, pulls the Rebels back to within 19 points at 59-40. Rebels have outscored the Wildcats 6-2 here in the second half. Smith over to Krigler, down the right to Hatton. He brings it back out front to set it up. Over to Smith, down the left side to Cox, a one-bounce dribble, and out to Hatton. He takes a 25-footer that's no good. Krigler knocks down the rebound, but it's taken by Griffin of Ole Miss. Fired up in front court to Garner, wide open. He missed it, but gets the rebound and lays it up again, no good. Rebounds again and lays it in good, and he's fouled. His third shot goes against Vernon Hatton. It's his first foul of the game. It's also the first foul of the second half. The goal is good. So Carlton Garner has just picked up his 6th field goal, and Mississippi's within 17 points. So the Cats are back in the same trouble they've had all season, trying to keep a first half lead. Garner shoots the free throw and gets it. So Garner has a 3-point trip out of it. Mississippi has 4 field goals to 1 on Kentucky in the second half, which is just 2 minutes old. 59-43, Kentucky leads. Cox bumps a pass to Smith, and from the left side he shoots, no good. Beck slaps it up twice, no good. Now Mississippi's Louis Griffin brings it off. Passes it over to Williams. Bobby Williams in front court. Passes to Carlton Garner, spins to his left. Beck comes through on a screen, cuts off his shot, so he comes back to the other side and misses. Smith rebounds for Kentucky. Brings it into front court, 3-2 over to Krigler. Goes down against Garney Hatch, under the basket, lays it up, no good. Cox tapped it in off the rim. Johnny Cox with his 9th field goal puts the Cats in front 61-43. Up in the front court now, Williams feeds to Garner on the pivot. Krigler off of him. He spins to the left on Krigler, and a foul goes against Krigler, his 3rd one. That's the 2nd one on Kentucky in this half. 2 minutes, 55 seconds have been played here at Lexington. One shot comes to Carlton Garner, who is 2 for 2 at the free throw line. 2 Rebels haven't missed a free throw in this game. He misses. Krigler rebounds, shooting across the alley, gives it to Hatton. Comes to the top rim of the circle, gives to Krigler from 20 feet, no good. No rebounding strength there, and Garner takes it off for Mississippi. Up into front court now, Williams. Passing over to Hatch. He moves to the right. Takes a 20-foot jump shot that's short. Griffin moves in for the rebound. It's jarred away from him by Beck, picked up by Smith, given to Hatton, who goes in against Williams, and it's knocked out of bounds by Hatch of Ole Miss. Hatton was trying to give a pass out to Adrian Smith. Smith out of bounds on the right side, gives to Beck, right back to Smith in the right corner, dries out, bounce pass deep to Hatton, fakes coming to the free throw line, gives over to Smith. Smith has it taken away from him by Carlton Garner of Ole Miss. Flipped up to Williams. Over it goes to Hatch, and Beck doing a beautiful job hustling down the floor, knocked it away and out of bounds on a 2-2 break with Hatton. Fine defensive play by Ed Beck. 61-43. Deep pass to Carlton Garner. Smith comes through the screen to pick him up. He goes down to the right, gets another screen, and misses the shot as Beck gets the rebound. Whips to Hatton at midcourt. Over to Krigler. 3-2 fast break. Krigler to Hatton from 10 feet to the right. He misses. Taken off by Lewis Griffin of Mississippi. Cats have played 4 minutes, 10 seconds on 2 field goals by Johnny Cox. Here's Griffin from 15 feet, missing. Beck taps the rebound out of bounds. Ole Miss will take it on a jump, it is. Beck at 6'7", moves out against Richmond at 6'7". Jump will be on the Ole Miss free throw line. Here's the tap, knocked away from Adrian Smith, and then Beck slaps it out of bounds. Hatton tried to save, couldn't do it. Mississippi will take it off the left side of the offensive court. Pass comes into Bobby Williams. Double pivot now, both of them playing on the free throw line as Garner goes down the middle and charges into Beck on the shot. Foul is blocking on Ed Beck, and it's his 4th one. Coach Adolph Rupp making no move as though he's going to get a substitute into the game. Checks the card flashed from the scores table that there are 4 fouls now on Beck. And 2 shots come to Garner, who has hit 2 out of 3. Garner up for his first try. Good. Mississippi has outscored Kentucky 4-2 on field goals so far in the second half. Now Mills comes off the Kentucky bench as Garner drops in the second free throw. Passes in quickly to Hatton. Mills waiting to get in now for Ed Beck. Here's Smith down the left side to Cox. Back out to Hatton. Passes out deep to Krigler from 25 feet. Krigler shoots good. John Krigler has 7 field goals. Kentucky leads 63-45. Garney Hatch in front court for the Rebels. Down to Richmond, who turns and shoots over Beck, no good. Beck goes in to get the rebound away from Griffin. Fine rebounding. Over to Vernon Hatton, who moves over the center stripe for the Wildcats. Flips out to Odie Smith, breaks right, kicks to Cox. Moves on a 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounce, dribble to the baseline, backs away into the corner. Gives to Beck, fakes to Cox, back to Smith. Goes down the baseline, gets wide open, and misses from 5 feet. Tapped up by Krigler, no good. By Cox, no good. Here's a rebound by Hatch, and Hatton fouled him as he made his break for the basket. Second foul on Vernon Hatton, and Don Mills comes into the Kentucky lineup for Ed Beck. Kentucky has already committed 4 personal fouls in the second half to none by Ole Miss. For the second time in the game, Beck is out. Hatch on the free throw line for the Rebels, hits. 63-46 the score. Mississippi's cut 7 points off. Here's Hatton all the way. He got the shot. Nope, is knocked off of the rim by Griffin, and they're going to... Are they going to call goaltending? Foul is on Richmond of Ole Miss, his 3rd. That shot by Hatton was laying on the rim, and it looked like it was going in when it was knocked off of the rim by Mississippi's Lewis Griffin. Neither official apparently saw it, so Hatton will get 2 free throws. Hatton is on the line for his first shot. Good. 14 minutes and 31 seconds to play. Kentucky 64, Mississippi 46. Smith and Krigler backed up in safety. Krigler playing just off the right side of Hatton, as his second shot's also good to make it 65-46 for the Wildcats. Garney Hatch brings the Rebels back to the attack. Whips quickly to Garner on the pick. Carlton Garner. Jump shot no good. Outside rebound to Garner, and from 15 feet he misses again. Tapped by Griffin, no good. Rebounded by Richmond, and he's tied up by Johnny Cox. Johnny Cox still playing with a taped up right hand. He cracked the knuckles pretty hard last Monday night down at Georgia Tech, so much so that his hand remains swollen all week. Ole Miss has 3 inches height advantage in the jump, and the tap goes to Griffin. Outside to Williams, starts down the right side against Hatton. Gives in to Richmond, who jumps and hits. Richmond has 3 field goals, and it's 65-48 for Kentucky as Hatton in front court gives to Odie Smith. On the left side to Cox, out to Hatton. Hatton moves to the right, yelling to Krigler, gives him a bounce pass back to Hatton. Smith goes through out to Cox. 20-foot jump shots, no good. Taken off by Mississippi. Rebels out rebounding the Cats here in this half, and outscoring them too. Up into front court now is Bobby Williams. Kentucky is not rebounding as they did in the first half. Richmond hands off to Hatch. From 10 feet, he shoots to the left, no good. Cox gets the rebound for Kentucky. Moves it into front court, passes to Hatton on the right side, cut off by Garner. High outside pass to Krigler, top of the circle, jump shot's way short. Krigler moves in to get his own rebound, however. Takes a jump shot, good. John Krigler has his 8th field goal. He and Cox have 2 apiece in this half. Mississippi still leads Kentucky 5-4 on second-half field goals. Cats have a 19-point lead. The Rebels outscored them by 5 points in the second half. Williams fakes Hatton and hooks it in. 4 field goals for Bobby Williams, and the Rebels are behind 17. The Cats had him down 23 at the half. Up in the front court, Odie Smith to Hatton. On the left side to Cox. Outside to Smith. Over to Krigler. Krigler fakes an outside shot. Kentucky's gone to outside shooting in the second half. Hatton calls Mills out for a screen. Blasts right down the middle and lays it in. Vernon Hatton picks up his 4th field goal of the game. Increases the Kentucky lead to 69-50. Hatch in front court. Bounces one on the pivot to Carlton Garner. That's knocked away. Picked up by Adrian Smith. Got Vernon Hatton wide open. Smith gives it to him. Hatton lays it in. 5 field goals by Vernon Hatton. 2 of them in quick order to give the Cats a 71-50 lead. And the Rebels have outscored Kentucky by only 2 points now in the second half. Williams takes Smith to the basket and hooks it in good. But he walked with it this time. Took an extra step in getting away from Smith. So Kentucky gets the ball back. Smith loops a bounce pass into Hatton, who walks up the backcourt. Yells down the side to Krigler as he moves over into front court. Gives to Smith. He fakes, drives to the free throw line. Gives to Cox, who goes in and loses the ball. Picked up by Mills, who lays it up no good. Cox taps no good. Krigler taps. Mills rebounds. Bounce pass outside to Hatton. Moving to the right at the baseline. Turns his back outside pass to Mills from 15 feet. It's no good. Tapped by Krigler, no good. Taken out by Richmond of Ole Miss. Fed to Garner, going down 2-2. At the free throw line, he pulls up on Cox. Passes outside to Hatch. Over to Garner again. Straight away from 20 feet, he misses. Up goes in on him. Hatch getting up, Garner getting up with his 7th field goal. Makes it 71-52. Vernon Hatton clenching the left fist to indicate the play to Cox, who reverses court, gets the lead pass. Miss, no good. Picked up by Mills, who hooks it up, no good. Taken off by Mississippi's Griffin. Hatton pins him in at the baseline, and he gets a pass out to Williams up to Hatch in front court. Hatch down the right corner with a pass to Garner. Takes the jump shot. No good. Hatton gets the rebound on the bounce. Passes to Cox coming in front court. Down the right side. Pulls up. Passes out to Krigler. He's open. Top of the circle. Shot's no good. Short. Rebounding Mills. Krigler knocks it away. Smith picks it up and lays it up no good. Nobody goes for the rebound this time. Mississippi's Bobby Williams moves out and picks it up. Goes right down the middle, and a foul on Adrian Smith of Kentucky. 3 personal fouls on Smith. Also 3 on Krigler. Beck's on the bench with 4. We got 11 minutes to play. On the free throw line is Bobby Williams of Ole Miss. Williams is the only Rebel who has not missed a free throw. Shooting 1 on this 5th foul of the half by Kentucky, and this one's good to make it 71-53. As the Rebels draw again within 18 points. They've outscored Kentucky by 5 points in the second half. Down the right side to Cox, out to Adrian Smith. Sets from 20 feet and misses. Krigler, beautiful rebound, got it. Well, Kentucky forwards, Krigler and Cox, have each picked up 9 field goals to draw the Wildcats into a 20-point edge, 73-53. Here it is to Garner on the free throw line. From 15 feet, he shoots, no good. Mills rebounds, hands to Cox. Moves 2-2 with Hatton. Pulls up at the free throw line. Gives to Krigler. He's wide open and lays it in. 10 field goals for John Krigler, who slipped in through the Mississippi defense, and the Rebels call their 3rd timeout as we take timeout for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky. 4 minutes past 9 o'clock.
The cheer you hear in the background is for Kentucky's first change at guard. The man who caught the fancy of Kentucky basketball fans back early last month when he pumped in 25 points against Vanderbilt. Earl Atkins, the 24-year-old senior from Ashland, who is 6'4" and weighs 180. Atkins, who is scoring a point every 109 seconds to have a 109 proficiency rating, is the number 6 scorer with 77 points and a 6'4" average. His best night in Nashville when he got 25 against Vanderbilt. We have Kentucky hitting 30 field goals on 70 shots right now for a .429 batting average. Adrian Smith out of the Kentucky lineup, which places Atkins at a guard with Hatton. Into the Rebel lineup is Bobby Robinson instead of Hatch at guard. Griffin, Richmond, Garner remain the 3 deep men. Mills and Atkins represent Kentucky's only 2 substitutes as they lead by 22 points, 1 less than at halftime. Here's the pass to Garner now as we go back to play. Down the right side, it goes to Richmond, breaks in on Mills, blocks the jump shot beautifully. And the ball down on the floor, though, is picked up by Garner, who misses. Richmond taps no good. Krigler knocks it down and takes it for Kentucky. Passes over to Werrell Atkins. Atkins wheels into front court now, gets to Hatton on the right side. Calls Mills out for a block. Doesn't like the looks of it and backs away. Calls Krigler over to the right side, yelling 6, and here she goes. Down to Krigler, out to Atkins, over to Cox. Down the left corner to Hatton, and he shoots, misses everything. Comes off racing in to get it, Earl Atkins. Beautiful save by Atkins to Krigler, and the shot, no good. Tapped by Mills, no good by Krigler, it's good. Krigler has 11 field goals now, as the Cats lead 77 to 53, equaling their longest lead of the ball game. This is the best night Krigler's had in scoring, 26 points. Here's the shot, in and out by Williams, who slams his head in disgust as Cox fouls on the rebound. Johnny Cox has 3 personals, and the bonus rule is in effect against the Cats. 9 minutes and 18 seconds to go. On the Rebel free throw line is Lewis Griffin, who's had 1 try, that in the first half, and missed it. Abe Collinsworth comes off the Kentucky bench as the free throw is good by Griffin. Collinsworth will represent Kentucky's 3rd substitute. Collinsworth has a birthday, too, next week. Abraham's birthday, too, the 12th. Here's Atkins in the right corner. Whips to Mills in the pivot. Back to Atkins, back to Mills. He turns around. The jump shot, good. So Don Mills gets his first point of the ball game to make it 79 to 54. Kentucky has their longest lead of the game. Up in the front court, Williams drives to the corner, shoots. Hatton deflects. Griffin rebounds, and he steps out of bounds. Goes over to Werrell Atkins, who flips it into Hatton, and the Wildcats are back on the attack. Leading Mississippi by 25 points. They've outscored the Rebels, though, by only 2 points in the last 11 and a half minutes. Cox whips to Mills on the pivot. Back out to Hatton on the right side. He makes a double fake, then gives out to Atkins. Atkins takes it deep to set it up. Taking it to the left side, passes to Krigler. Atkins goes through, out to Hatton, over to Cox. He takes a 20-foot jump shot, no good. Off to the Rebels, Louis Griffin. Outside to Bobby Williams. Williams over the center stripe now, down the right side, passes into the corner, and here's a quick shot by Garner, good. Carlton Garner, with his 8th field goal, makes it 79 to 56. Kentucky leading Ole Miss. Here's a late score from the East. Pennsylvania has beaten Brown. Penn, 77, Brown, 60. In front court, Johnny Cox, deep to the left side, passes over to Atkins. Takes the 25-foot set shot, no good. Tapped by Mills, into the Rebel bench, and Kentucky gets it off the hand of Ivan Richmond. Clock on the move, 7 minutes, 45 seconds to go as Don Mills gets it, calls the hike signal. The incoming pass to Cox in the right corner. He's open, the shot's no good. Tapped up in the air by Krigler, by Mills, no good, and outside to Bobby Williams of Ole Miss on the bounce. We'll be back with you over these same Standard Oil stations Monday night. Kentucky and Mississippi State. Jump shot good right off the top rim of the circle by Bobby Robinson of Ole Miss. Robinson's first field goal of the game. Kentucky 79, Mississippi 58. Atkins on the right side to Krigler, outside to Hatton, over to Cox, down the left corner to Atkins, and the pivot to Don Mills. Goes under, comes up and misses. Rebound to Mississippi's Bobby Williams again. Over it goes into front court now to Robinson. Takes it down the left side. Krigler picks him up at the baseline. He passes one out to Garner. Breaks on Atkins to the basket. Walks with it. It's out of bounds to Kentucky. We're into the last 7 minutes of the ball game now. Kentucky had Ole Miss by 23 points at the half. Right now they got them 21. Johnny Cox out to Hatton. Over to Krigler on the right. In the corner to Atkins. In the pivot to Don Mills. Goes under on Richmond. Hooks it in. 2 field goals for Don Mills. Kentucky 81, Mississippi 58. Up in the front court's Williams. In the pivot to Garner. One bounce dribble to the left. Outside pass goes to Robinson, who breaks down wide open to the left and lays it in. Robinson with his second field goal makes it 81 to 60, and here's Kentucky's first time out of the game. So coming in will be Abraham Lincoln Collinsworth, 21-year-old senior from Salyersville. He's 6'3", weighs 190. Is the 11th scorer with 9 points, a .8 average. He's had 2 points against 4 teams, LSU, Tulane, Georgia Tech, and Florida. A proficiency rating of 248. Phil Johnson comes in, 21-year-old junior from Lexington. He's 6'6", weighs 220. 71 points for a 4.7 average. Johnson is the number 7 scorer. Had a best night against Utah State, 11. A rating of 225 in scoring. Johnny Cox is coming out of the Kentucky lineup. Vernon Hatton is remaining in. John Krigler is coming out. Right now we have Mississippi hitting 22 of 68 for a 324 average. Kentucky 33 field goals on 79 shots, a 418 batting average. Hatton is the only regular still in the ball game, as Mills is at center. Collinsworth and Johnson play the forwards, and Hatton is at guard with Atkins. They bring it into front court. High pivot pass comes into Don Mills. He gives off the left side to Collinsworth, who drives in, and beautiful fake by Collinsworth, who lays it in. But he had been fouled earlier by Louis Griffin of Mississippi, committing his second foul. That, incidentally, is only the second foul against the Rebels in this half of play. Collinsworth is on the free throw line, shooting one. It's good. That gives Abe his 10th point of the season. 82-60, Kentucky leads. Williams in front court, throws it out of bounds. Behind the back of Carlton Garner. Collinsworth shoots it in quickly to Atkins, up to Hatton over the center stripe. He moves down to the left side with a pass to Johnson, outside to Hatton. Whips in the pivot to Don Mills, who's fouled from the rear by Richmond, his 4th foul. So Ole Miss has got 2 men, Robinson and Richmond, in this game with 4 personals. Kentucky's got Ed Beck on the bench with 4. Don Mills' first appearance at the free throw line. 5 minutes and 56 seconds to play. Don had his best night against LSU when he scored 10. His free throw's good. Rebels have committed 3 personals now. Kentucky leads 83-60 as Lowell Hughes comes off the bench and waits to check in. Here's Williams from 20 feet missing for Ole Miss. Rebound taken off by Garner. From the right side, he shoots no good. Mills knocks it down and can't handle it. Mississippi's got a gimme as Richmond lays it in, picking it up under the basket for his 4th field goal. Kentucky 83, Mississippi 62. Mississippi's outscored Kentucky in this half after 14 and a half minutes. Here's Hatton in front court, top rim of the circle. Passes in the pivot to Don Mills, breaks for the basket. A hook from 10 feet, no good. Collinsworth kicks it out of bounds. Goes to Mississippi. Into Bobby Williams, who brings it into front court. Fakes Hatton, goes in and shoots. Hatton slaps at it and gets it. Knocking it down to Mills, up to Atkins, to Collinsworth. Down the middle, he pivots. Passes out deep to Mills. Hatton wide open under the basket, but nobody saw him. Over to Atkins. In the pivot to Don Mills. Goes under the basket. He's double teamed. Gives to Atkins. Drops it. Picks it up and is fouled as he jumps to shoot. Goes against Griffin, his 3rd one. It's the 4th one on the Rebels in this half. And coming out is Hatton. So all the Kentucky starters are out of the game now. Lowell Hughes, 19-year-old sophomore from Prestonsburg. 6 feet, weighs 185. Based on time played, he's Kentucky's best scorer. He scores every 106 seconds. 10th score with 18 points, average of 3 points. Best nights against Utah State and LSU when he got 6. Atkins shooting 2, hits the 1st. Atkins' first point of the game. Johnson and Hughes just in. Hughes actually hasn't played yet. The only ones who haven't scored as Atkins drops in the 2nd shot to give Kentucky a lead of 23 points, exactly what they had at halftime. So these teams have played 15 minutes, 10 seconds of the second half on exactly even terms. Robinson misses a shot from the left, and Johnson rebounds for Kentucky. Over to Collinsworth, who fakes Robinson, moving up into front court, passes Hughes on the left side. Pivots, gives off to Collinsworth, breaking for the basket, and it's knocked away by Griffin out of bounds. Kentucky gets it over the baseline to the left of the basket. Jim Tom Atherton waits to check in for the Rebels as Don Mills out of bounds, calls his play, looks at Collinsworth under the basket, feeds Atkins in the left corner, out to Lowell Hughes, whips to Collinsworth. He's open at the top of the circle, gives over to Atkins, moves to the right side, passes to Johnson, outside to Collinsworth. He gives over to Hughes. Hughes moves out, looks at Mills, gives back to Collinsworth. Collinsworth moves to the right and gives to Hughes, whips in the pivot to Don Mills. He falls away, and a jump shot's shortened to the left. Johnson slaps it down, no good. Picked up by Don Mills, moving to the outside to Collinsworth in the right corner. Jump shot good. Collinsworth has his first field goal and 3rd point. This is the most points that Collinsworth has scored in a single game this year. And Krigler also had his best night of the season tonight. Up in the front court, driving to the left side. Bobby Williams of Ole Miss between his legs to Griffin, who hooks and misses. Atkins slaps it down, gets it away from Richmond, but it's picked up and hooked by Williams way over the rim of the basket to Collinsworth of Kentucky. 3 minutes, 35 seconds to play as Collinsworth slows up in backcourt. Moves over the center stripe, giving to Atkins. The fans want Atkins to shoot that outside set shot as he moves down the left side, gives to Mills in the pivot. He walks with it, and it's out of bounds to Ole Miss. Kentucky 87, Mississippi 62. Timeout Mississippi, their 4th timeout of the ball game. We mentioned that John Krigler had his best scoring night. He came up with 11 field goals tonight and 26 points. His best previous night was the 25 he got against Georgia Tech here last month. Also into the Rebels lineup now we have Carter Brown. Ole Miss has played 8 men, while Kentucky has played 10. A reminder that we'll be back with you over these same Standard Oil stations Monday night at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time when Kentucky plays Mississippi State here in Memorial Coliseum at Lexington. And Monday night's game with Mississippi State will be the next to last home game of the season. Only the game with Vanderbilt remains for the Coliseum. The Cats have 4 games left on the road, 2 more in the Coliseum. Both of the home games are conference games. As we go back to play, Garney Hatch gets the pass and moves into front court against Lowell Hughes. Down the right side for a jump shot that's no good. Collinsworth takes it off for Kentucky, and the Cats are running 4-3. Whip to Atkins. He can't hold it. It's out of bounds to Ole Miss. Collinsworth putting a little bit too much on it. Here it is in front court to Griffin on a high pass. He falls away, and it's no good. Taken off by Lowell Hughes of Kentucky. Whipped over to Atkins, breaking in front court. Back to Hughes from 10 feet to the right. He misses. Knocked out of bounds to Kentucky. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to play here at the Coliseum. Out of bounds is Don Mills. Kentucky striving for the 8th win against 1 loss to hold on to the lead in the conference. Here's Collinsworth from 25 feet missing. Johnson taps it up no good. Just rolling over the rim and out of bounds. Nope, we got a jump before it went out. Collinsworth and Griffin. And on the jump situation, Ole Miss and 6'6" Louis Griffin will have 3 inches advantage as Bill Cassidy comes in for the Wildcats, replacing Mills. Cassidy, 22-year-old senior from Inez, is 6'2", weighs 191. 9th score with 26 points and a 2.6 average. Best night, 10 against Utah State. Scoring proficiency of 135. 2 minutes, 31 seconds to play. Kentucky has a 25-point lead, only 2 better than at halftime, as these Rebels have really battled them. Here's the tip to Johnson, wide open. He lays it in. Phil Johnson with his first field goal. He's the 9th Wildcat to score. Makes it 89-62. Here's Hatch to Carter Brown. He walks with it. He got off balance and dragged the pivot foot, so it's out of bounds to Kentucky in backcourt. Atkins passes into Lowell Hughes, and Hughes moves over the center stripe, whips in the pivot to Johnson, spins right, goes under, hooks it back, and no good. Hughes gets the rebound, and the foul is called on Ole Miss. Personal foul against Carter Brown. He's first of the game. 2 minutes, 2 seconds to play as 1 shot comes to Lowell Hughes. Lowell Hughes has not scored. First free throw line appearance for 1 shot. Bonus rule not in effect as he hits. Lowell Hughes, percentage-wise, is Kentucky's best free throw shooter. He's hitting about 90%. Dan Jordan comes into the lineup for Ole Miss, replacing Brown. Jordan is 6'2", weighs 180, 19-year-old sophomore from Philadelphia, Mississippi. 9th score with 5 points, a 1.7 average. Best night against Howard when he scored 4. Jump shot by Atherton of Ole Miss, no good. Kentucky leading 90-62. Rebound by Johnson to Atkins to Hughes. Fast breaking, he's fouled as he goes under the basket by Hatch. 2nd foul on Hatch of Ole Miss. Lowell Hughes goes up to the Kentucky line for 2 shots. On the free throw line so far this year, Lowell Hughes has hit 7 out of 8. First shot's good. Hughes averaging 3 points a game, is shooting for his 3rd point here. Got it. Kentucky 92, Mississippi 62. 30-point edge for the Cats now. Minute and 40 seconds to play. Hughes almost cut it away, knocked it down from Atkins, whips to Hughes, goes in, it's a gimme. Lowell Hughes picks up 5 quick points for the Wildcats in a 94-62 lead. Give him a lot of credit there. He stole that ball, knocking it down for Atkins to pick up and feed him breaking. Here it is into Griffin of Ole Miss, out to Atherton. He gets open, and Atkins just brushed up into him as he made the fake and committed the foul, his first. Stopping the clock with 1:18 in the game. Bobby Williams comes in to replace Hatch for Ole Miss. Jim Tom Atherton on the Rebel free throw line is scoreless, with 1 shot coming and the bonus rule into effect. And it's no good. Rebounding, laying it up. Richmond misses. Griffin taps, no good. Ball out of bounds to Ole Miss. Kentucky leads 94-62 over the Rebels. Out of bounds with it is Richmond. Passes into Williams, knocked down by Collinsworth, and a foul is called on Cassidy of Kentucky, fouling from the rear, his first foul of the game.
Foul committed by Cassidy.
Well, Kentucky has not hit the century mark this season. Their biggest output was 97 against LSU here January the 11th. They're within 3 of equaling that. Here's the shot. No good by the Rebels, Griffin. Here's a steal of the ball by Atherton. He takes a 25-foot jump shot. Good. That's Atherton's first point of the ball game to make it 94-64. Atkins passes into Collinsworth. We got 45 seconds to go. Collinsworth in front court now, passing over to Atkins. Atkins dribbling the ball out deep. High pass to Johnson on the pivot. He gives over to Cassidy. Cassidy breaks to the right, goes for the basket, lays it up and in. Cassidy with his first field goal of the night makes it 96-64, and Kentucky's within 1 point of equaling their best scoring night of the season, leading the Rebels by 32 points. Here's Bobby Williams breaking to the right side, cut off by Cassidy on a switch, who attacks him immediately with that ball. He gets the pass out to Atherton with 11 seconds to go. Atherton is deep. Clock on the move, 8 to go. And it goes to Atherton, 5 to play. Down the right side to Williams. He forces the shot out of there, and it's way short, knocking it down. It's shot up there, no good, but they whistle at the baseline. A foul has been called against Johnson of Kentucky as the ball game ended, and free throws will come. So the 96-64 score is not final, as Richmond goes to the Mississippi free throw line for 2 shots. He's hit 6 out of 8, all in the first half. So here's Richmond's first chance, no good. Richmond on the line for another one. Kentucky will win by at least 31 points. Here's Richmond's second try, good. And so that's it, 31 points. Final scores, Kentucky 96, Mississippi 65. Well, the Rebels made quite a battle out of it on the second half of play as Country Graham of Ole Miss and Adolph Rupp of Kentucky stand talking out just in front of us. There's one thing upon which all automakers agree, and that is, in winter, it is necessary to drain and replace motor oil more often. Your car engine manufactures as much as a gallon of water for every gallon of gasoline burned. In summer, most of this water passes out through the exhaust pipe. And when it's cold outside, and your engine is often cold and ideal for condensation,